All right, everybody. Beneath this mystery shroud, we have some vintage vinyl and a little bit of memorabilia from one of the great pop music acts of pop music history, I would say. Also a television show. And however cheesy you might think they were, they actually had great music. That's going to be one of my points because kind of like the Monkees, they didn't write anything. They didn't play anything. They did have a really good singer that sang stuff. Again, kind of like the Monkees. If you're wondering who we're talking about, I'll give you a little hint. Point me in the direction of Detroit. Point me in the direction of New York. How about point me in the direction of Albuquerque? And if you know that song, Point Me in the Direction of Albuquerque, you know I'm talking about the Partridge Family. Here we go. And the Partridge Family was actually very great because they were a Wrecking Crew band, and we've got some Partridge Family vinyl here and also a Partridge Family Lunchbox. We'll look at that in a second. But great. We've got a kind of a pile of Partridge Family vinyl. And I have some duplicates. Actually, I've got quite a few duplicates of some of these. I'm not even sure how I picked so many up over the years. I just buy them as if I found them in a garage sale or something a lot of times. But there we go. This is their first album, Up to Date. So this was kind of teeny bopper. Like, oh, David's birthday is April 12th. I bet he got 50,000 birthday cards on April 12th because of this album. All 13-year-old girls. There's Chris. There's Tracy. Down there's Chris. They swapped Chris out after 1 year, didn't they? Didn't think we'd notice. Kind of like on Bewitched when they changed Samantha's husband. There's Laurie Partridge. Susan Day. There's Shirley Jones. There's Shirley Partridge. Really one of the great figures in American theater, for sure. American musical. She was in Carousel, Oklahoma, The Music Man. Also won an Academy Award, I think, for her role as a prostitute in Elmer Gantry, which is a good movie with Burt Lancaster. There's Danny Bonaducci. I don't see Rueben on here. We need Rueben. Rueben was a great part of the show. And I used to like, he and Danny would always be running around town getting into all kinds of mishaps. It'd be kind of funny, this kind of beleaguered 40-year-old man carting around this kind of mischievous 11-year-old kid all the time, and all their mishaps and adventures they'd run into. This is just great stuff, though. Let's look at it here. One of the things you notice right away is the Partridge Family. You might think they were kind of cheesy in their image and everything. I don't happen to think that, but I'll tell you what, they were a Wrecking Crew band. They had some of the best songwriters, some of the best musicians, and some of the best arrangers in the country putting this music together. A lot of their songs, they could have been Loggins and Messina songs, Bread, I mean, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, any of the kind of soft rock, kind of earthy, organic music of that early 70s period. Hal Blaine played drums on a lot of these albums. You look at the list of stuff Hal Blaine played on. Played on John Denver, the Carpenters. I mean, just it's ridiculous. Louis Shelton on guitar. He's another one. He was kind of like Hal Blaine. He played on a list of songs as long as your arm. Oh, here's the Partridge Family fan club. Look at that. No internet back then, so you actually had to physically send $2 into this mailing address, and it was some kind of a mysterious. A lot of times they were a PO box of some kind. And then you had to wait too. You'd have to wait and kind of look at the mailbox for every day for 6 weeks or something. Allow 6 weeks for delivery. I remember that. I used to order stuff out of the back of comic books. Sometimes it was kind of like that. You'd have to send them money physically, and then it would seem like forever before you heard back, but you usually did. Look at some of these songs. I'll Meet You Halfway. That's Wes Farrell and Jerry Coffin. What great songs. And that was Jerry Coffin co-wrote a lot of the Carole King hits from the early 60s and was married to her for 10 years. So again, the credentials of this musically are top notch. You got Carole King associations. You Were Always on My Mind. Great song. Doesn't Somebody Want to Be Wanted? That's another good. I think that has the recitation in it, doesn't it? I'm Here, You're There. Umbrella Man. Morning Rider on the Road. That'll Be the Day. Great. This is the Partridge Family Sound magazine. I woke up and loved this morning. Echo Valley 26809. That was kind of one of those phone number songs like Jenny 8675309. Rainmaker. If you watch the show a lot, I mean, I watched the show like every Friday when it was on when I was a kid, and I'll watch it in reruns sometimes. And they had usually a good song, sometimes two even every show. Starring Shirley Jones, featuring David Cassidy. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Here's the back of this album. Martini Bopper. Oh, David's favorite things. Oh, the song The Thrill Is Gone. I was wondering if you put that down to be snarky. You know, he hated the David Cassidy, at this time anyway, hated the Partridge Family. Thought it was killing his rock star career. Maybe he's kind of like a lot of those people, Gilligan's Island. They hated it first, then after a while they realized, hey, everywhere I go in the whole world, people love me. Life could be a lot worse. The songs we sing: One Night Stand, Brown Eyes, Echo Valley, You Don't Have to Tell Me. Summer Days, that's a great song. That Tony Romeo really had some good songs. There's Shirley's Favorite Things. Look at that 70s pop music attire, those kind of suits they used to wear. Now this is the Partridge Family notebook. Oh look, that was a kid's notebook back then. This maybe is a 8th grader's notebook in junior high. The Partridge Family, Shirley Jones, David Cassidy. Look at that nice organized notebook. You sort of picture a nice, well-behaved, middle-class kid sitting in a school, a neighborhood school, taking notes there. You got to pay $50,000 a year to go private for a lot of that nowadays, unfortunately, that kind of school. Let's see. She's taking good care of her. Together we're better. Is that One Step Short of Our Heaven? And I think so. Maybe Looking Through the Eyes of Love. That's a good one. I guess that's the We Got to Get Out of This Place, right? Is that the one? Wes Farrell. There's The World of the Partridge Family. You know, the last few years, the show was always good, but I feel like their music, a lot of the songs you remember from the Partridge Family were really off the first year or two of the show and the first couple albums. I might be wrong, but that's the impression I have. Because they were around till 1974, and some of their later stuff doesn't seem to resonate that much, at least with me. There, we got The World of the Partridge Family. There's the new Chris there. Tracy, Shirley, Danny. What an absolute cut up, huh? Today you'd probably be on all kinds of attention deficit drugs. Which would be screwed up. That tells you something about how screwed up our schools are now. There's Keith. Laurie, what do you got here? I Think I Love You. Point Me in the Direction of Albuquerque. You know, a lot of these you could say is about, but Point Me in the Direction of Albuquerque is just an example of a great song. Like I said, it could have been a Bread song. Who did, like Sammy Johns, Chevy Van, or something that's that kind of light, laid back kind of soft rock, kind of just a little flavor of maybe country rock. Doesn't Somebody Want to Be Wanted? Maybe that's the one where he had the recitation in it, right? I don't know. I Can Feel Your Heartbeat. Hello, hello. Here's the part. I think this was actually their first album, the Partridge Family album. We got some pictures. Shirley Jones, David Cassidy. There's the. I think they were based on the Cowsills, kind of, weren't they? Talking about all the sort of introducing the characters. There we got Dave Madden. Yeah, Dave Madden was one of the for the Rueben Kincaid. What a great part of the show. always a man about his wits' end, trying to manage all those kids and the family. But a great part of the show, and he had some great lines on there. Oh man, brand new. There's Point Me in the Dress. See, they'd have repeats on a lot of these albums. That was kind of common back then. You'd have a few of your hits repeated, but then new stuff. Look, there's Tommy Tedesco on guitar on this one. Louis Shelton, Al Blaine. This is the Partridge Family Christmas album. Kind of nice. Get some Christmas songs. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Merry Christmas. You know, that is really starting to bother me. That's great. And we got a Partridge Family lunchbox here. I think it belonged to my sister. Oops. Kind of nasty inside. You have your little thermos there, maybe some tomato soup, some chicken noodle soup, a sandwich, some cookies. I feel like kids don't take their lunch to school anymore like that, but it's pretty nice. Great band. Thanks. God bless.